Hi, my name's Fred, and I'm one of the bloggers here at Rots and Shots. Tonight, as you can tell by the background music, we're going to talk about personal protection and the fact that I'm a blind and disabled shooter. And I do have a legal conceal and carry permit in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So before we get started tonight, and with a little help of Mr. Segura here, we're going to get Pennsylvania's version of the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be questioned. That is what Article 2 of the Pennsylvania State Constitution says. Again, for those who missed it, it's a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms in defense of themselves and others shall not be questioned. Alright, well, now we know I have the right to defend myself. Okay, so that's fine, and I got my permit to carry my firearm, concealed of course. Even though Pennsylvania is an open carry state, not highly recommended here. A lot of the antis and a lot of liberals have discovered that while they can't do anything about the fact that Pennsylvania is an open carry state, they tend to like to do something by having people arrested for causing a public disturbance when they openly carry. So, moving along. I do carry concealed, I do carry in public, and I'm fully aware of what that means. I, recently discovered from listening to another disabled shooter that disabled people are 66% more likely to be the victim of violent crimes, which is perfectly fine by me because I'm a relatively violent guy myself. I'm an American. Give me a little violence, I'm a happy guy. So, move on. Basically, having heard that, and then having further listened to the gentleman in particular had been afflicted with cerebral palsy. So I continued to listen to his discussion about the subject, and furthermore discovered that he was writing a book upon the subject of not so much blind self-defense as so much as handicapped self-defense. And I thought to myself, well, my God, this man's going to write a book about handicapped self-defense. How wonderful. Except for, with very few differences, handicapped self-defense is no different from anyone else's version of self-defense. You're still going to, in the eyes of the law, have to meet the same criterion as in my case, for example, as a sighted shooter. I'm going to have to still meet these same criterion, and I would ask no differently. I'm not into the whole pity me act. I'm blind. I admit to the fact that I'm blind. I am not going to, crawl inside a bottle and die because I'm blind. I still have a life. I have a wife, 2 children, and I'm employed by one of the most anti-gun companies on the planet Earth. But having said that, this gentleman's, one of his viewpoints was that he felt that every handicapped person in the world walked around with a bullseye painted on his back. And, I find some fault with that, as in the fact that I've walked amongst many, many people armed to the teeth, and because I don't have a cane, and I don't allow myself the oh pity me option of use of a cane and a dog, I find myself not feeling targeted. I don't feel that I'm 66% more likely to be the victim of violent crime. Sometimes I wish I was 66% more likely to, because I'll tell you what, there are days when I would just love to duke it out with somebody. My employment can be stressful, let's say. So maybe I should be, hoping that this gentleman's right and I'm 66% more likely to be the victim of a violent crime. Though I am also very much aware of my surroundings. I don't travel places where people could put my quote-unquote disabilities to their advantage or to their use. If I am forced to travel into a cramped or crowded environment, I always travel with a companion. That companion of the last almost 5 years now has been my wife, who is also a concealed carry holder and who also carries concealed on a frequent basis. So, having said that, I'm not really sure if I feel as though I agree with the gentleman with the cerebral palsy who said he felt like he was walking through the world with a bullseye on his back. Now, I think anyone who wants to test the assumption that I'm walking through the world with a bullseye on my back should understand that I'm not going to make it easy on them. The way I do my self-defense is I tend to carry not only my concealed firearm, but an assisted opening folded knife. Because one thing anyone's got to realize about self-defense, the bad guys already know what they want to do to you. You do not know what the bad guys want to do. So you're already one step back to start with. And I suppose if you want to argue the oh pity me route, you could also argue that disabled shooters are 2 steps back because we have whatever limitation it is to our senses plus whatever the limitation of not knowing what the bad guy wants to do to us. So if you want to put it that way, the disabled shooter would be 2 steps back. Or the disabled concealed carry holder would be 2 steps back at that point. To be made up for in hopefully our own awareness of our situation, our own awareness of our limitations, our own awareness of our surroundings. Because as I said, when or if I or any other handicapped person would have to defend ourselves, the law is not going to look at us any differently. The fact I rather chuckle at is the statement that justice is blind. And in my case, that's somewhat comforting because I already know what it's like to be blind. So, I mean, I could sit here and make puns all night about going into every situation blind. Not necessarily blindfolded, just blind in general. But I feel as though if you are disabled, you don't allow yourself to be pitied. You stay aware of yourself, your surroundings, your limitations. Choose a methodology of conceal and carry that is to your advantage. Like I said, for me, and again, I'm not an expert, I'm not, someone who teaches this kind of thing, and I would never claim to be. For me, personally, I carry not only my firearm, but I also carry a blade. For the fact that my family, who taught me a lot of what I know about personal defense, was almost to the T all Marines. And one thing that one of them pointed out to me is, though the blade may not be deadly, and it may not even need to be deadly, but if the attacker gets stuck in reaction to whatever he does to you, if he's stuck, it's going to take him a minute to stop, get the knife out, or if it's even possible for him to pull the knife out, which gives you more time as a disabled person to deal with that situation. It's a intermediate step to not only is it a defense and an attack, it's a defense and an attack all at once, because you're going to cause him blood loss when you stick him, and the pain is going to cause the distraction. The fact that he has a knife in him is going to cause him, unless he's extraordinarily well disciplined, to let go of whatever is in his hands, likely, and clutch at the knife or to try to pull the knife out. By that time you can finish dispatching of the attacker. So that's how I do it. I carry not only my sidearm, but I tend to carry an assisted opening knife. And I do advocate that if you're attacked suddenly, to stick your attacker and then draw your weapon and finish dispatching the attacker. It's not for everybody. It's not a professional opinion. It's just my opinion. And if you think about it, in theory, it works out quite nicely. Like I said, it all depends on your particular physical limitation and your particular situation, what suits you best. Well, for tonight, at least on the subject of handicap self-defense, that's going to do it for me for that subject. I wish all you a great evening. I hope to hear from you. I'm always look forward to commentary, suggestions, complaints, particularly complaints. I love those. And again, my name's Fred, and I'm one of the bloggers here at Rots and Shots. And I hope to see you all at Pittsburgh's NRA annual meeting. Have a great night.